Hey everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this is Cover Me. Cover Me is a game where each player is going to be controlling a fashion magazine, and you're going to be searching for and hunting for the best model for the cover of your fashion magazine. You're going to be following the different fashion trends that are going on, and you and the other players are going to influence those trends, and you're going to try to push those trends to be the models that you have under your staff, right? And so then you can be the most prestigious magazine if you can pull that off. Now, I will fully admit, and I fully understand. There's going to be people that are going to see this video and they're like, "Ooh, what's the theme?" Where are my giant mutant laser battles that I'm looking forward to, or even like a train game or pick up deliver, or just where's my dry Euro about farming in the Middle Ages, or and I get that, and I understand that, and I understand this theme is obviously way out of my normal, and I'll fully say it, comfort zone. And I will fully admit that this was kind of a tough sell to push onto my gaming group. But after I read the rules and I saw how the game was played, I was like, this looks like a lot of fun, and I really want to try it. And lo and behold, we had a lot of fun with it. Now, I'm all for different and varied themes in games. You can only play so many, laser space battle games. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that technically. I mean, because obviously if a game is good, it's just good, right? The theme shouldn't matter. So, and I played, there's games like Rococo out there that are really good. Portal Games had a game called Predaporter, which was a fashion game as well. And those were really, really good games as well. So, don't let the cover of Cover Me fool you. This is a very, very fun game. So let me show you how the game is played. It is mostly like a hand management, card playing game with a wonderful reveal moment that you're doing over and over again, which I really, really like. Then we'll come back here and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, cool. Let's learn how to play Cover Me. Alright, let's learn how to play Cover Me. I've set up a 3-player game, and I've done a little bit of the setup already. So let me just kind of explain to you what you're looking at, and then we can kind of go from there. And I can show you how the different players are going to take different actions by playing different cards, and they're going to inspire the trends of the fashion world. And hopefully they will have models that they will have on the cover of their magazines that will score them points. Now, each person is going to be in charge of a magazine, and these are the 3 players I picked, and these don't really mean anything other than it's just your player card. And the reason why you put them in a row here, like so, is because of the fact that you are going to be playing cards. You play 3 different cards down one by one. Each player does it at the same time simultaneously. You're going to reveal, and the cards that you reveal are these cards that have the models on them. And as you reveal them, those are going to inspire the different trends of that particular season. So just bear that in mind. That's the main mechanism of the game. You're going to be influencing the different tracks of the board that are going to end up telling you whether or not you're going to score the cards that you have. Now, I'm just going to pick this up really quick here, and this is what's called the mirror board. The mirror board has 2 different tracks on it. They have one, this is the trend of the hair, like how long the hair should be. Just bear with me here. And so this is short hair, this would be medium length hair, and that is long hair. And then the color of the hair is over here. And then we have blonde, brown, and black. Over here we have the different seasons. You start off in winter, and then of course you go to and then you go around the different seasons, and you have the years that you're playing. Normally a game is played over 3 years, but if you want, you can play a 4-year game. Now, one thing about the seasons, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but it's a very important to note that during in spring and summer, the color of the clothes that people wear are what's important. That's going to affect the different trends, and you're going to be placing these on the board and moving them down. That's what's important. But during fall and winter, what's important is the background. And if you look at the backs of these cards, you can see like this one has a diamond background. This one has this like stripy plaid background, and then like this one has a diagonal background, and that's what these are here. And so just keep that in mind. You're not all that fluctuates as far as the seasons are concerned. Since I mentioned these cards, let me just show you. Each one of these has a picture, obviously. You can look at the picture of the model and you can kind of figure out what exactly they have as far as what you're going for. But just you should always go by the iconography. Obviously, the background, you can kind of tell what that is. You can see this is a red card. You can see she has like the medium length hair, and then you can see also, and it's a little difficult to tell, but that's red hair, or I'm sorry, like the brown hair that's on there. And like here, this particular card, you can see that shows like her background is the stripes, even though you can see that. Once again, it's a red card. She has short, and then if you look very carefully, you can see that they consider this to be blonde. So there's just different things that you can look at that will signify that for you. And at the beginning of the game, to set it up, what you're doing is you have this giant stack of cards here, and in this giant stack of cards, you have blue, red, and yellow are the three different. And later on, you will add more cards to this deck as you go through the years. This deck has green, I believe, if I said this correctly. Yep, this deck has white, and this deck has black. And so what will happen is, as you go through the years, like at the start, you'll have the three colors, then you're going to add green, then you're going to add black, and then you're going to add white. And and that's very important because if you're able to score the model as you go on through the seasons, these cards, if you're able to score them, are worth more points. Once again, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but just keep that in mind as I show how the game is played. Alright, so each person's going to have a hand of 9 cards. You are going to draw those from the draw pile, which is over here. And then you're going to keep those cards in your hand, though at the end of each, you are going to be able to discard cards and pick up new cards when you go on to the next year. To get your 9 cards, each person will get 6 cards dealt to them. I'm just going to take the top 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then after you have your 6 cards, then starting with the first player, which you determine randomly, of course, you will the person will have a choice of drawing another card from the top of the deck or taking one of the cards that is located over here. Now these cards were set up randomly. You turn cards over off the top of the deck until you have 1 card for each possible hair color. And so here's like dark, here's blonde, and here's brown. And so eventually, like what I got was I got several of both black hair and blonde hair, but I only got 1 brown because as soon as I had that 1 card for brown, then the drawing was done. If somebody takes this card, you then do the same thing again. You pick a card up, and like I see this one is blonde, so you put that in the middle, and then we keep drawing until we got another brown. So that one is black. Let's see, how long is this going to take? Another black. Blonde. This might take a little bit longer. Blonde. Blonde. This normally, there we go. And so there is brown, and so then we'd have the ability to place that. And so you can see that the stacks of the decks will kind of increase if you don't get that color. So if you took that one, you put it in your hand, and then you do the same thing again. The next person goes, and so forth until you have 9. I'm just going to take a couple at the top of the deck just so I have 9 cards, and so we can have 9 cards. All right. So now after you have your hand, each person is going to take a card and they're going to place it face down in front of them. They reveal and they're going to put it in this spot. Now, I should mention that before the game this right here is called what's called the influence row. You do draw 2 cards at the beginning of the game. You put those in the influence row to begin with, and that is your opening like influence to the different fashions. That is why we have these two backgrounds moved up to the 1 on the catwalk here, because we had those two different backgrounds. It is also why, since we have two short hair, we've moved the short hair to number 2, and since they're both blonde, we've moved the blonde to number 2. So right now, the trendy thing is short blonde hair and one of these two backgrounds, because it is during a winter season. And so people are going to be trying to, like, pick those particular things. And so if you looked in your hand, you try to find something. So like here's blonde, but the wrong background, right? Because we need one of those backgrounds, but it's not the right. So we need blonde and short hair. Did we get a blonde and short hair? I don't think we did. But the whole point is that you're not going to score this until you actually get to the end of the particular season. So there's different months or whatever that you go through to get through the process. So what you're going to do is each person plays a card face down, and then they turn them, and then when they turn them up, and I'm just going to drop and throw these down just so you can see them. They're going to go through, and each one of these is going to affect it. You're going to adjust all these tracks again. And so like here we have the background of the stripe go for these two backgrounds gain, so they go up to the 2. Let's see, we have a short hair and 2 medium length hairs. So short hair goes up 1, medium length hair goes up 2. And then if we look, we have, let's see, we have a blonde, we have a black, and we have a brown. So each one gets one. So blonde goes up to 3, and black and brown hair goes up to 1. And so once again, and like as I'm not really playing this I'm just throwing the cards down so you can kind of see how this works. And then we do another month, and so we're going to go ahead and so we're going to look at this, and so we have 3 of the striped, so we can go 1, 2, 3 like so. And then let's see, we have 1 long hair, 1 medium length, and 1 short. So short goes up, that and that. And then we have let's see, a black, and a brown. And so black would continue up, and brown will go to 2. And then the final one would be, just put these 3 cards down so we can see what they are. So stripe goes up by 1. These two go up by 1 each, like so. And let's see, we have a brown, we have a black, a brown, and a blonde. So each one goes up 1, like so. And a long hair, a short hair, and a medium length hair. Same thing again. All right, so that would be done. That would be the end of like the winter season. And now what we would do is we would see like how well these particular models scored for each one of these magazines, each player's magazine. And the whole point is that you either want to have, to be able to score the model, you want to score a 3, meaning that your model has like the right color, the right length of hair, the right color hair, and the right background in this case. And later on, remember, like the color is going to matter in the spring and summer. But right now, we're not concerned about that. And so we're going to go ahead and look, and you're going to say, okay, so did anybody score a 3? So let's just kind of see, like with the red magazine, let's see how they did. And so we're looking for this model. She has blonde, medium length hair, and she has the striped background. So she has the striped background, so that's worth 1. She has medium length hair, which unfortunately isn't short, so that doesn't count. But she is blonde, and because blonde and black did tie, that means that is worth 1 as well. So she is going to be worth 2 points. Not 3, but she's worth 2. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We'll get back to that in just a little bit. So let's go on to the next one. So we have her. She has a striped background. Good. She has like long hair. And she has brown hair. So this one's going to be worth 1. And the final one we have is like the wrong background. So that's no good. But we do have a blonde. So that's worth a point. But it's the wrong length again. So we're going to have 2, 1, and 1. So we didn't score anything in that one. So, I mean, and the thing is, I'm kind of doing this just to show you that. But when I played the game, the easiest thing was to either look, okay, do I have the right background or do I have the right color, depending upon the season. And so the only ones we have to worry about are these three, right? Because those are the three that could possibly score. But I'm going to notice right now that this one, she has the right background, she has the right length of hair, and she has the right color of hair, meaning this is going to be a 3-point score. And if we go over here to this particular card, the exact same thing happened. We have the right color hair, it's black, it is short, and has the right background. So both blue and black would be able to score either of these particular models. And so then they can go ahead and they'd be able to take these and they'd be able to put them face down in front of them as models they've scored. Now this particular person, unfortunately, they didn't get one, but they are going to be able to take one of their models that didn't score, like that scored a 1 or a 2, and they're going to go ahead and be able to place them in the influence row, which is over here, which, if they played their cards right, they have other cards in their hand, so they get to pick one of their cards and add an influence row, and they're looking at their particular hand, and they're going to be able to, like, think ahead, right? You know, so they, oh, okay, well, I didn't score, but I still got lots of people that have this background, that have brown hair, and that have long hair, and if I can, you know, use that to influence the trends, then I can increase those and I can get those points. And then the next turn, maybe I can. Now here's the, and this is very difficult to do, but here's a tricky thing that you can pull off. If you can somehow get all three of your models to score 0, meaning that, like, if all three of your models had one of these backgrounds, they had brown hair, and they had, you know, and they didn't have short hair. If you managed to pull that off and all three of them scored 0, that would mean that, I mean, and so you, meaning that, like, you didn't score any points, you'd get to claim all three of them because of the fact that, like, kind of your magazine went counterculture and it went against the norm, and that's like avant-garde or what have you. And so if you can pull that off, you get to take all three of your cards and place them underneath and face down in front of you, and they're going to score points for you at the end of the game. Once again, tough to do, but if you can pull it off, you can really pull a big swing as far as the points are towards the end of the game. All right, so after you, and so you're going to do that for each season, right? And then so you take these cards, you swipe them off, and then you're going to go ahead and any cards that you didn't score, you put back into your hand. So you put them back, and then so you can use them the next time. So you're going to do that for each season, you know, and then you're going to get to next year. When the next year comes, and mind you, after going through these cards, it's going to happen quickly. You're going to end up taking all these cards down. When you go into the next season, what you're going to do is you're going to take all the cards that are in this area. Let me just get rid of the ones that are here as well. So you just get rid of all of these. So you go on to the next year. So this deck is going to be massively depleted. These influence cards, you know, would probably be much different because you do remove those, and then when you add the new influence cards, so it's gonna be massively. And you're gonna go ahead and take the green ones, and you're gonna put those on top of that particular stack. And then, since black is up next, you're gonna put the black deck over here because that will be like the next color or whatever that's going to be in style. And then you're gonna replenish the middle here just like you did before. So, like, we're gonna go ahead. So here we have black hair, here we have blonde hair, and we have black hair, and we have blonde hair and brown hair. So then we'd have that beginning start. And now players can go ahead and they can start taking the green cards, which are going to be worth more points if they can particularly score them. So they're going to go through that season again, they go through the whole year again, replace that with the black, go through the whole year again, replace it with the white. So after you've done all of the different years, you will look at the cards that you've scored, and if you have yellow, red, or blue cards that you've put face down in front of you that you scored, these are worth 2 points. If you have green cards you put down in front of you, those are going to be each worth 3 points. If you have black cards, so here, just to show you, if you have these cards that are black in color, and you score those are going to be with 4 points. And at the very end, if you have white cards that you score, those are going to be worth 5 points each. Whoever scored the most points ends up being like the most trendy or possibly avant-garde magazine out there, and you end up winning the game. This is a game that it took me, I'll flat out say it took me by surprise as far as like just how how difficult it is to kind of manipulate the trends, because once you get all these and they're moving up and down they don't move back up, but as you're kind of pushing these forward and trying to get these things to work the way you want them to, and as well as the different hair colors and hair lengths, and you're trying to make all that happen for you. It is a game where you sometimes are working with the other players, because you're all kind of going for the same thing, and a lot of times you're working against them as well. And having the right card at the right time and having it out there to be able to be scored is huge. And you can kind of tell, because obviously, like, when people are scoring the points and scoring the cards and putting them in front of you, you have a good idea of how many points they're scoring. And I have found that towards the end, especially when these cards start increasing in value, because mind you, you don't get rid of your cards. You're still going to have cards of this color in your hand during the last year. It's going to be a really rare situation where you've replaced all of them for all the other different colors. You're still going to have those. But when you get to the end and you're able to pull off like a counterculture turn, and you're scoring all 3 of your cards, and you've got green, black, and white cards in there, yeah, somebody else might have done a really good job at the very beginning, but if you can pull that off at the end, you can definitely swing a victory your way. And it gets really tenacious at the end, trying to guess what other people are going to have, as far as having the cards face down and they flip them over. And this is one of those, I love reveal moments in games, and I'll probably talk about that in the conclusion, but there's something really great where you're looking for something specifically, you're like, please do not have anybody else pick long hair. I'm gonna get screwed out of some points if they do that. And then as soon as they reveal the cards, you start looking around trying to make sure that they didn't pick that. So, this was a lot of fun. And like I said, I didn't know what to expect when I played the game, but my gaming group and I, we had a blast with this one. So, but let me talk more about that in my final thoughts, which I'll do right now. Alright, thank you very much for taking the time to learn how to play Cover Me. You can go ahead and check out the rules if you want to dig into those a little deeper on the Kickstarter page. And also, you can go and go to the Kickstarter page as well to learn more about the gameplay and what have you. So if you have any questions, obviously you can ask, and I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. Now, I want to touch on something really, really quickly, and I usually don't like getting political or anything in my videos. I tend to try to just be in absentia of any kind of any kerfuffle, if you will, possibly. But I'm going to give the designers and the publishing company of Cover Me praise because of the fact that it could have been very easy for them just to kind of focus on the general societal idea of beauty and decide that's what the artwork would be. The artwork done by I'm going to say Bruno, and I'm not going to Cerkvenik is brilliant. I remember when I first saw the artwork, I was like, oh wow, they got a bunch of pictures of women, and then I looked. No, each one of these is actually been created by the designer, and they're really, really well done. But I'm just gonna say that. And I know they probably made a conscious decision to do this, and that's a very good thing. They went and they found women from all walks of life, nationalities, everything. And they didn't just say, oh, well, you need to be this stereotypical fashion model look, right? They went and they made pictures of a wide, varied use, and I really appreciated the fact that they did that. So whether that matters to you or not, meh, it mattered to me, and I really like that they did it. So anyway, regardless, Cover Me. What do I like about it? Well, like I said, when I read the rules for the game, and I realized, and if you've watched these videos of mine, anything with the reveal moment, right? You have the card in your hand, everybody says 1, 2, 3, you flip it over, and you show what you got. I love that moment in games. I've always enjoyed that. I think the whole process of, like, you have your card and you're hoping that, like, it's the card that nobody else wants to see, like it hurts them, and you want to look at the other cards and see that nobody's picked a card that's gonna jam you as well. And so it's a moment of that everybody at the table is paying attention, right? They're looking, they're seeing it, they're everybody is engaged. And a lot of times in games there aren't those moments, right, when people are like, it doesn't force people to kind of see what's going on. Everybody's kind of just detached, and not really paying attention to what's going on at the table, and they're just doing their own thing. So it is a mechanism that forces people to pay attention, which is something that I really like. Now, I think the manipulation of all the different like all the different tracks that you have, and plus, isn't this cool? Like, the catwalk was actually like 3D. I thought that was amazing. I mean, and this is a prototype I got, but I mean, it's so cool. I mean, like, it was one of those things where when I took it to my local game store and we were playing it, people were just like, "Holy cow, what's that?" And plus, like, the back side of this is like actually like you can put the cards in there and stuff like that. So like you put this in the box, and so it's a storage tray, but also you flip it over, and it is your game board as well. But anyway, regardless, the manipulation of the different tracks and everything like that, like, kind of push the different trends in different ways, in different directions. I really liked that. I mean, it was something where, like, you saw the game develop as you played it, and you could kind of count on it. And one of the best things about it is that, like, you could hope and you could push towards the of shooting, like, it's kind of like shooting the moon in hearts, like going for that counterculture score, right? Going for the avant-garde by, like, not really, like, having a couple of cards with, like, I'm gonna have a couple cards that have short hair, that are gonna have they're gonna be brunettes, and they're gonna have the plaid background. And I'm going to make sure that I don't play those cards at all throughout the entire game. And then one of those seasons, I'm gonna play those cards. And because I'm going to try to make sure as much as I possibly can to keep those things low on the ladders. And so I can cash in big with those points. And as other players kind of see that, you'd find them, playing cards that would possibly not really be optimal for them as far as scoring points, but making sure that the other players couldn't pull that off. And so, once again, it was one of those things where it was like the plans are evident, and if you could pull it off and get one of those big 3-card scores, or if you could, like, monkey with somebody just enough so the last model they placed normally would have scored 0, but you played the right card with, like, the right color hair or length of hair or what have you, and you pushed that one up to, like, a tie, with like, first place or whatever, so they would score a point, and so they get 1 point instead of 0, so because they need all 3 to be 0. Fantastic moments of games that are just really, really exciting and really, really fun to play. So, as I said, it was at first it was a really hard sell for my gaming group. I was like, "Hey, let's play this game." It is, and they're like, "What is it?" They saw the cover, and I was like, "Well, it's you're running a fashion magazine," and they were a bit skeptical. But we've been together for decades now, and after I showed them the game and got them going with it, and that we had a lot of fun with it, and. And I'm glad they did it. Obviously, you could have themed this game any way you wanted, right? You didn't have. You could just be an abstract for that matter. But the fact that they used the theme that they did, I think, is good. It's because this is a game that my wife was actually interested in playing because of the theme, and and when you take themes that are outside of the normal spectrum, you're going to get gamers that are outside of the normal spectrum. They're going to be interested in our hobby. They're going to start playing it, and that's a wonderful thing, right? When we reach out and we hit more people and we get more people excited and get more people interested, that's a really, really wonderful thing. And so, you know, for all those reasons, and I mean, just because it's flat out fun. I mean, it was a really, really good thinky, you know, Euro. I mean, and I had a heck of a lot of fun time with it. So there you go. That is Cover Me. If you have any questions about the game, please ask away. Any comments, as you know, fire them off and let me know what you think. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I am the Undead Viking telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.